Never walk on the ladder.
And it's not.
Oh my.
Oh, someone's whining me.
Shortages.
Look, someone's
I'll save
whining
you,
me.
man.
Jake, someone's whining me
Oh
so
my
crazy.
I don't think this game is accurate enough for this.
Jake, someone's whining
Oh
me.
I basically just showed that because, I'm sorry, my hair looks a little bit funny because I didn't do nothing with it. I can get away with leaving it alone after my shower if, when there's no one to tell me what to do with it. But, I showed a moment like this because I still, to this day, catch myself wondering how in the world could that just be gone? How could I just be removed and taken away? Like, that just doesn't happen to people, you know. And I've never offended my kids. I never was abusive. I never harmed them. I never I don't know how to even, what words to describe it with. I just loved them. And what you saw there was a moment where we would always have boys' nights, and you know, their mom was very athletic, and she would go jogging and running, walking with her friends, and she had a lot of friends. I didn't have any friends. I've got more friends now than I've had since I don't know, 2009 or 8 or whatever. But I'm sorry for being so stuffy. I'm stuffy all the time here since I moved here. My allergies are just ridiculous. But I don't know how that's gone. I don't even know what they think or thought. You know, the last time I saw my youngest son, I was at a car oil change place May 1st of last year, and we played Hulk Smash with, you know, if you're pouring concrete and at the very end of the day when you're done with it, you'll drop it off in a ditch, and when you pour it pours out thin, but it'll still harden, like, I don't know, like thin pieces of concrete that are, so they're hard as rocks, but you can break them real easy. So he and I went out there while his mom was inside getting her oil changed, and we played out the whole time outside, and I watched him break those pieces of concrete like he was Incredible Hulk, and it was just, it's my last fond memory. It's my last favorite day, you know. And then I ended up, you know, I'll just tell you briefly. So in October of 2018, I was I'm probably going to get killed for this, but I was arrested for something I didn't do. I did not do what the police report said. It said that I continually harmed somebody physically, and I didn't harm them at all. I've never done that. And so it took me to jail, and my ex-wife actually bailed me out, and the first thing she said was, I've known you for 20 years now, and you've never ever done anything like that. You've never, you know, as many times as you may have been angry or upset or even intoxicated, you never, that's just something that's not you. You just don't do that. And I said, I know, but that's what was said. And so even the pictures from the arrest report, everything, the police dashboard cam saw my ex running towards the cop car, and she was pretending to be chased, and there was nobody there until when I saw her and I stepped out towards her. I was on her right hand side, and she was looking to the left and the back, and I didn't know what was going on, so I came out towards her like, hey, and then she looked at me, and she was like, whoa, and she ran, and I looked over to the right, and there was, sure enough, there was a police car creeping up real slow with the lights off, and I had no idea that they'd even been called, or I didn't know what was going on. I had no idea. So I'd gone outside to retrieve something that I disrespectfully put outside, and I had seen her standing at the edge of the driveway. I went out to watch her, and then that's when I saw the whole thing. I was just kind of caught off guard. I didn't know what was going on, but so they put me in that place, and then my ex-wife, who just couldn't believe it, like all the neighbors, and nobody could believe it. I wish I could say some of the comments that were spoken, but that's old news. It's over. And I was on bond waiting for them. They wanted to make me take classes, and I couldn't afford to go to a trial because it was $25,000 for that, so I was settling for the next best thing. And so I had met a young lady named Tiffany where I worked at this restaurant, and we had a couple of drinks, and I had started drinking occasionally then already because I was so depressed. I missed the boys, and around Mother's Day weekend but we hung out, had a few beers and whatever, and so I went to get my ankle monitor checked, and while I was there, my deputy, the person in charge of me, said, hey, you've always been good. You've never failed a drug test, but you've got to do them every so often. So just come in anytime this week and give me a urine sample. I said, well, I'm here right now. I'll just do it right now. Because I wasn't doing drugs, and I haven't touched a drug in, it's been almost 2 years now since even I was, still somewhat dependent on pain medication. But anyways, so I went to take my test, and a week later, a police officer just pulled me over on the side of the road from out of nowhere at a Walgreens, and he said, I've got an arrest warrant for you. You failed a drug test. I said, there's no way. I don't do drugs. But he said, you did. And when I got there, they told me I tested positive for alcohol in my urine, which I didn't even know that was possible to check for. I have no idea why, but I guess it is. So, but in October, the night they arrested me, the person that called the police on me said that I had beaten them repeatedly, continually, while denying certain things. And finally an eyewitness stepped forward a couple months later and gave a different, told the truth. But 2 days after I was arrested, there was an injunction filed by the accuser of my alleged actions, and in it stated I could not return to my home, and that I couldn't speak to or have any contact with her or my children. And I don't know how to tell you, it's like they died. And I told people I spent 5 months in jail after they arrested me for the failed drug screening with alcohol, because Florida has no state income tax, and they subsidize that with the penal system. So they get $187, I think, a day for every inmate that's in jail, and they don't want you out. They want you to stay in there. And I learned all this and some other things, and it's now I think I've become a stronger person because of it. Because if you've been to prison, prison's like a country club. It's quiet, it's calm, it's air conditioned, it's nice and concrete and clean, and you've got Coke machines and fountain drinks and coffee machines, ice cream, and, tacos, and whatever you want to buy. But county jail, it's bars and concrete. You don't have that. So I'd rather spend a year in jail than a month in county jail. Just from what I know of it. I've never been to prison, but so yeah, I mean, they told me it was going to take 7 months for me to get to a trial, and I didn't want to stay there 7 months, and then God knows what. Because the lawyer said there was no injuries on the pictures, there was no nothing, and I think some mascara was running on, whatever. But yeah, I mean, this person said I beat them continually while denying something, and then, but I did get upset about our conversation being recorded. I didn't know until the end, and I threw the phone on the ground, and I didn't know what was happening with the phone. I thought it was recording, then I saw it was calling somebody, and so I just turned around, went to the bedroom, and stayed there for a while, looked out the way. I mean, a lot of stuff. I was, I had been drinking a little bit, a lot, but something I hadn't done since July 4th before that. So, but my kids, man, my boys, that the little clip you just saw was of us, what we would do when we were just hanging out. We would watch TV shows, or, 9/11 or Bob's Burgers, but I want them to know, I'm not going to say their names, J and E. I want them to know I didn't leave them. I didn't abandon them. I didn't kick them out. At no time did I say you had to leave or go anywhere. I never spoke in court. I never said a word other than, I think in the first beginning I said something about wanting more time because I had just gotten a lawyer, and Judge Pinnock paid for my lawyer, and he passed away. He gave me money for the first part of my having a lawyer in the beginning. And so an old friend of mine named Lawrence came with me, showed up, and he did all the talking. There was a lot of things I didn't even know were happening. They weren't discussed with me beforehand. And I even remember they said, well, you get your house back January 1st, or no, December 20th. And I said, well, just in case, don't kick them out before Christmas. That's crazy. I don't want my kids to leave before Christmas. How will Santa Claus find them? And I came back January 1st and they were gone. And everything was gone. My entire house was empty except for a table and the bed, which smelled like my ex, tremendously like her perfume. And my ring set up on a little, was obvious. And then there was a note, an old note we had used to write little things, and we kept a running note. There was just a couple little, back and forth things, and it was underneath the light turned on in the counter. And then another note on cardboard about the dogs. But I never said they had to leave, and I didn't want them to leave. And I contacted my ex-mother-in-law on a few occasions, and I went to jail for that too. I spent 90 days for that alone of time, credited. But just because when I called her, I have these conversations on my iRecorder app. I have them. I said I can't get any messages to her. I don't want any messages back. I just want you to read between the lines. I said, trying to figure out what to do about the house. Should I sell it? Split the money? Do we want to stay here? Do they want to stay here? Can we stay? Can we work it out? I love them. I don't want to break up. I just want to keep it together and figure things out. But then they called the police on me and tried to revoke my bond. And the judge basically said, he said, did you make any threats? She said, no. Did he harm anybody? And she said, no. Because I had gone there and given her money, $300 for Jake's birthday. And there's a CD audio recording of this. He said, so this man is in my courtroom today for providing financial assistance for his kids. And this was after, when she threw me in jail, she wrote a check to herself for the exact amount of my bond. So I couldn't get out of jail. And that's why I had to call my ex-wife, who bailed me out. And I guess it was kind of fortuitous because I would want my kids to have money, or be taken care of. But the exact amount of my bond was exactly what she wrote herself a check for. She knew what was in there, and I still have that a picture of the check from my app, in her handwriting to herself from my bank account. And I have all the pictures of my house when I got back, our house, of it being emptied out and trashed, and then like a letter like, "Sorry, we couldn't clean up." And I was like, "You've been here for like 3 months." And the worst thing was seeing my next door neighbor carrying my things out of my house. This guy that she ended up, I guess, sleeping with and being with, and she was on a date at Ribfest literally less than a month after I was, so, but that guy was on her Facebook for years, he was back there as far as 4th of July 2015, so they had something going on for a while, and I didn't know about that. But Deuce, some radio guy, Deuce something, a little short, wiry looking, ugly guy. But so anyways, I want my kids to know that I didn't leave them. I didn't want to leave. Even when I was in jail, this person who accused me came to the courtroom and said I was making threats against her family, and her friends. And I was like, I don't know how to get a hold of any of your friends. I don't know their numbers, or I don't know who your friends are anymore. And I certainly haven't contacted your family. I don't know. I was given your aunt's phone numbers to send them pictures of your sister-in-law getting arrested or something, and while they were all having dinner, you asked me to do that. Like, it's the craziest stuff. And I kept all the record. I kept all this stuff in a binder, I printed off all the pictures at Pepe's and Ginger's house. But I didn't leave you guys. I didn't want to go. I got taken. It took me out for something I did not do. I threw the phone down. And even in court, the judge asked my accuser, he said to her, "Tell me what happened. What did he do that was so bad? Why are you afraid of him?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm afraid of him." And he's like, "With the deputies here and me here and the lawyers and everybody in the courtroom, you're afraid of him now?" She says, "Yes." And I was like, "Dude, what would you be afraid of?" Especially when she picked me up in her car and drove us to Legoland to take Evan to Legoland for spring break when Jake was in Chicago. That's not afraid. That's like, hey, we had a Mexican dinner that was awesome. But anyways, he said, what are you so afraid of? What did he do that? Or what happened? The only thing she said was, he took my grandfather's ashes. And he said, what? Because I did. I wanted her to watch a football game with me, and when she didn't, I said I was going to watch it with her granddaughter. She had a box on the dresser with his ashes inside an urn inside the box. And I don't even know what the urn looks like. I couldn't tell you to this day if it's gold or silver or ceramic or what. I've never seen the contents of that box. There might not even be ashes in there, for all I know. But what I did, it was disrespectful. It was not. It was a low point in my life to have done that, because a passing of somebody and their remains is very sacred, and that was wrong of me. I wish I hadn't done that. But yeah, I had no choice. I was never allowed to see my kids. I wasn't allowed to be around. I wasn't allowed to talk to them. I did get to see my youngest a couple of times, but generally, if I was buying groceries or whenever she figured it was okay, we made it a little meeting one day to meet, and anyways, at 3 o'clock at a park. When I got there, and I've got a video of this. When I got there, they were leaving, pulling out, and I was like, "Hey, where are you guys going?" And she said to me, "We weren't going to meet today. You're stalking us." And I was like, "What are you talking about? We said we were going to meet here on Monday at 3 o'clock after school." And it was just this. I don't know if there were times when I was told that I was crazy for accusing somebody of something that they were doing. And there was so much gaslighting that right in front of my face, and I can't believe it. And I can tell you, I did everything I could. I asked, I begged, I still ask sometimes to be able to talk to them, to be able to see them, you know, and it hurts so bad. I've made probably 20 of these videos like this, but I usually start crying in them when they have to do with my boys because they can't get through them. And this is the first one that I've been able to get through because I don't talk about them. It's just hard. But so I just hope my boys know I didn't leave them. I didn't kick them out. I didn't say they had to go anywhere. I certainly didn't want them to end up where they ended up because of the past things that happened. But I just assumed that she moved in with a friend that she was working with. That's what I thought in the beginning. She made no attempt to contact me, to try and stay, to work it out, to let me be in my boys' lives. But she did go to court several times to make sure a judge signed an order that said I couldn't see them for 18 months. And then by that time I was, homeless, infected, living in a hospital and hotels and homeless shelters, which I did. I've got pictures and videos of all of that, and I had nowhere to go. I was living on the street, basically. I mean, truly living on the street. And I had to, there was an uncle I had in North Carolina. And so, that was my only chance to make something of myself. Now I'm not going to brag. I've got 2 businesses, and I work also for a pharmaceutical company. The businesses, I'm doing more than anything because I'm trying to get them autonomous, so that they kind of run themselves, and it's taken a lot of time to do that. And sorry, got myself a little choked up there, but so I've got Facebook pages for them. I've got t-shirts for one of them in 4 guys that I employ. And life has gotten better for me in a general sense as far as like my stability, my financial status, stuff like that. But my heart's broken. I mean, it is. I'm sorry. I mean, ever since I moved here, my allergies are all the time so bad, stuffed up. My eyes are always red, always burning, itchy. I've never had allergies in my life. But I just wanted my boys to know that I love them. I never stopped loving them. I never wanted to be out of their lives for 1 second. And I hope one day when they're older, we can reestablish a, communication and a relationship. I hope I can be in their lives somehow when they're allowed to make that decision for themselves. I'll always be here. I'll always be accessible. There's the channel. You can leave a comment. I'm pretty sure you can find me on Facebook, because it's just my name. And I love them. That's it.